You've been lied to. They told you to chase life, to grind endlessly, to beg for doors to open. But forcing life is the fastest way to bury your power. The desperate drown themselves. The calm rise above. Success isn't seduced by begging hands. It bends only to those who stand still, unshaken, untouchable. When you chase, you tell the world you're beneath it. When you force, you reveal your weakness. And weakness is blood in the water. Predators smell it. They circle. They devour. Machiavelli understood a timeless law. Fortune favors the one who waits with a dagger in his cloak, not the fool who pleads for favor. Life doesn't reward the frantic. It rewards the calculating. And here's the dark truth you've ignored. Attraction is born from indifference. The man who stops forcing becomes the man the world cannot resist. He doesn't chase success. He becomes the force that success chases. You want to know the secret? Stop clawing at life like a starving dog. Step back. Control yourself. Watch as the very things you once begged for begin to move toward you. That's not luck. That's power. Cold, quiet, undeniable power. Now lean in, because in this path, you're about to learn Machiavelli's way of attracting success without lifting a finger in desperation. If you're ready, comment this phrase right now. Power bends to patience. Number 1. The trap of forcing. Forcing life is slavery. You think you're moving forward, but you're shackling yourself tighter with every desperate step. The truth is brutal. The moment you force, you lose leverage. The world doesn't respect the beggar. It despises him. Machiavelli warned that the prince who shows neediness becomes a pawn in the hands of stronger players. And yet, you've been conditioned to hustle, to beg, to push, to force. Look around. What do you see? Men scrambling, clawing, begging for attention, validation, scraps. They mistake movement for progress. They mistake exhaustion for victory. They are rats running in circles, blind to the trap they're in. When you force, you communicate fear. You broadcast weakness. You scream, "I am not enough." And predators never miss the scent of fear. They exploit it. They play you. That is the law of power. The more you chase, the faster success flees. The more you press, the more resistance you create. It's psychological gravity. Weakness repels, strength attracts. The man who forces life doesn't rise. He sinks under the weight of his own desperation. Understand this. Forcing is rooted in illusion. You think you're controlling life by pressing harder, but life is controlling you. It has you on your knees, grinding yourself into dust while the powerful stand still and watch. Forcing blinds you. It drains your aura. It erases your mystique. No one is drawn to a man who clutches, clings, and collapses at the first sign of delay. The Machiavellian way is different. You must become a fortress, calm, immovable, self-contained. While others scramble, you remain unbothered. While they force, you wait. And because you wait, the world turns toward you. The trap of forcing is an illusion only broken when you stop moving like prey and start existing like a predator. Comment this now if you understand. Forcing is weakness. Patience is dominance. Number 2, the art of strategic patience. Patience is not weakness. Patience is a blade hidden behind the smile of a king. You think waiting makes you passive, but Machiavelli understood. Waiting is war disguised as calm. When you move too quickly, you reveal your hand. You show your hunger, and hunger makes you vulnerable. But when you wait, you make others restless. You force them to show their cards first. You turn time itself into your weapon. The impatient collapse under their own anxiety. The patient dominate without moving. Strategic patience is not sitting still. It's sharpening your power in silence. It's watching, studying, calculating, while others burn themselves out chasing shadows. The man who masters patience controls the battlefield before the battle begins. He knows when to strike because he has seen the weaknesses others exposed in their rush. And when he moves, it is final, decisive, unstoppable. That is the cold psychology of patience. Let them bleed themselves dry while you conserve your strength. Look at nature. The lion doesn't sprint after every sound in the grass. He waits, he watches, he lets the prey step closer, blind to the danger. And when the strike comes, it is over in seconds. That is patience in its purest form. Not laziness, not fear, pure control, pure leverage. The lion doesn't force the hunt. He lets the hunt come to him. You must embody this. Stop rushing. Stop clawing at opportunities. Let them ferment until they are ripe. The man who waits strategically will always attract more than the one who begs. Remember this truth. Timing is deadlier than speed. Comment this now. Patience is my weapon. Timing is my power. Number 3. Nature bends to power. Power does not chase. Power pulls. Just as the moon bends the tides without lifting a finger, true strength bends the world without strain. Machiavelli knew this. People submit to the illusion of inevitability. The man who stands unshaken becomes a gravitational force. He doesn't scream, he doesn't beg, he doesn't force, and yet everything revolves around him. This is not mysticism, it's psychology. The human mind is wired to desire what appears scarce, what appears above reach. And nothing is more scarce than the man who is unbothered, detached, in full command of himself. When you stop forcing, people sense it. They sense the calm in your presence, the control in your silence, and it gnaws at them. They want to know why you don't chase, why you don't move like them. That intrigue becomes attraction. The weak are drawn to strength like moths to fire, even if the fire burns them. That is nature's law, the magnetic pull of dominance. Forcing life is the act of the powerless. Attracting life is the signature of kings. Understand this deeply. Nature doesn't reward desperation. It crushes it. Look at rivers. They don't force their path. They carve it over time, unstoppable, inevitable. Look at storms. They don't beg for recognition. Their presence commands it. The oak doesn't claw to grow. It simply stands, and everything else bends around its existence. This is the dark psychology of natural authority. The world tilts toward those who refuse to tilt first. When you master this law, opportunities align without resistance. People seek you out. Fortune follows. You don't chase because you've become the center of gravity. And that shift from chasing to attracting is the line between weakness and mastery. Say this aloud. Write it in the comments. Etch it into your mind. The world bends to my presence. Number 4. The mask of indifference. Indifference is not apathy. It is a weapon, a mask forged in fire. The world bows to the man who can look at gain or loss with the same cold expression. Because when nothing rattles you, nothing owns you. Machiavelli understood that a ruler must master appearances. To appear unmoved is to project invincibility. The mask of indifference is not about feeling nothing. It's about showing nothing. Behind the mask, you calculate, you measure, you plan. But to the world, you are unreadable. And that unreadability terrifies them. People chase what ignores them. They claw at what resists them. When you show indifference, you plant obsession in their minds. Dark psychology proves it. Scarcity intensifies desire. The less you show, the more they want. The colder your mask, the hotter their hunger. Indifference is not withdrawal. It is control. It is you dictating the tempo, the energy, the frame. And once you set the frame, you own the game. The weak reveal everything. Their face betrays fear, lust, greed. They force smiles. They over-explain. They show their cards like fools at the table. The powerful, they sit still. Eyes steady, words minimal, silence louder than a scream. And the world bends toward that silence. Indifference commands respect because it denies the one thing people crave most, validation. You must build this mask. When insulted, remain still. When praised, remain still. When tested, remain still. Because every reaction chains you to their control. But every moment of indifference chains them to your aura. This is how kings attract loyalty, how generals command obedience, how predators lock their prey in invisible cages. The mask is your crown. Wear it until they cannot tell what you feel, what you want, what you fear. That mystery is irresistible. Comment this now. Indifference is my shield. Power is my presence. Number 5. Silence over begging. Silence is the purest form of dominance. The weak cannot bear silence. It exposes their emptiness. They rush to fill it with excuses, with pleading, with noise. But the Machiavellian mind understands that silence is a blade sharper than any word. When you remain silent, you strip the other of their power. You force them to reveal themselves. You make them squirm in the void you create. And that void is your battlefield. Begging, on the other hand, is self-slaughter. The moment you beg, you crown the other as superior. You kneel. You surrender. Machiavelli warned, men despise those who show need. Once you beg, you have declared yourself powerless. But when you are silent, you declare control. Silence unsettles. It destabilizes. It places you above the fray. Think of a negotiation. The beggar spills his desires, exposes his weakness, loses before the deal is struck. But the man of silence, he waits, he listens, he lets the other talk themselves into a corner. He lets them betray their own needs, while he reveals nothing. That is cold power psychology, forcing the enemy to move while you remain still. Even in personal life, silence seduces. The one who doesn't rush to reply, who doesn't plead for attention, becomes irresistible. People project their fantasies into your silence. They imagine strength, depth, mystery. Your lack of begging becomes magnetism. This is why kings speak little, why generals wait, why predators stalk in silence before striking. Power does not explain itself. Power does not beg. Power commands by saying nothing at all. Practice this discipline. When you feel the urge to prove yourself, shut your mouth. When you want to demand attention, shut your mouth. When silence grows heavy, embrace it. That weight is your weapon. The world will lean in to hear you because you did not waste your breath chasing it. Remember this. Silence elevates, begging destroys. Comment it now. My silence is strength. My words are weapons. Number 6. The dark seduction of power. Power seduces without trying. It does not chase, it does not plead, it does not lower itself to bargain. Power is a dark magnet. People are drawn to it even when they know it may destroy them. This is the hidden truth Machiavelli knew. Men love power, but they love even more the illusion of power they cannot touch. And when you embody that, you no longer need to pursue anything. People and opportunities pursue you. Forcing life is the opposite of seduction. It is repulsion. Desperation pushes everything away, but the silent weight of power, it pulls all things into orbit. Understand this. Attraction is rooted in scarcity. What is common is ignored. What is abundant is overlooked. But the rare, the scarce, the untouchable, that becomes irresistible. Your calm detachment, your refusal to chase, your aura of being above the scramble makes you scarce. And scarcity is seduction. Dark psychology tells us that humans are wired to crave what denies them. Your refusal becomes their obsession. Your indifference becomes their addiction. That is why power attracts naturally. It starves the world of validation, then feeds it in measured doses on your terms. Think of rulers, conquerors, leaders. They never ran after loyalty. They built power, and loyalty ran after them. They did not beg to be followed. Their presence demanded it. They didn't seduce with effort. They seduced with aura. That aura is born from not forcing, from not chasing, from holding yourself like a man who could take or leave anything, anyone, at any time. You must wield this same seduction. Become scarce, become distant, not cold in weakness, but cold in power. Do not overexpose yourself. Do not flood the world with your presence. Appear rarely, speak rarely, move rarely, and each movement will echo louder than the constant screams of the desperate. This is the dark seduction of power, to pull without touching, to command without asking, to rule without forcing. Write this now, in the comments. I attract through power, not through need. Number 7, control the frame. Power is not just about strength, it's about control of perception. Control the frame, and you control reality. Machiavelli knew this better than anyone. The ruler who dictates the narrative controls the minds of the people. And in your life, the same law applies. Whoever sets the frame sets the terms of the game. If you let others define the rules, you are already a pawn. But when you seize the frame, you force the world to play by your script. That is why you must never force life, because forcing puts you inside someone else's frame. Attraction comes from mastery of perception. Frames are invisible prisons. The weak live inside them without question. They accept definitions, roles, labels handed to them by others. But the Machiavellian man bends the frame or breaks it entirely. If someone calls you desperate, silent indifference reframes you as untouchable. If they pressure you, your patience reframes you as dominant. Every reaction is a frame. Choose it, control it, weaponize it. This is the dark psychology of power. Reality is not objective. It is manipulated. It is shaped. And the one who shapes it controls it. Think of a negotiation. If you enter begging, you are trapped in the other's frame. They hold the high ground. But if you sit in silence, if you refuse to bite at their bait, you shatter their frame. Suddenly, they are negotiating against themselves, trying to impress you, to win you. You did not force the frame. You bent it by refusing to step into it. That refusal is attraction. That refusal is dominance. Frame control is how kings ruled without swords, how leaders commanded armies without lifting a weapon. They convinced the world their authority was natural, unquestionable, inevitable, and the world obeyed. You must do the same. In every encounter, ask, whose frame am I in? If it's not yours, you're already losing. Comment this to lock it in. I control the frame. I dictate reality. Number 8, ruthless self-mastery. The greatest conquest is not of kingdoms or men. It is of yourself. Without self-mastery, every victory you achieve is borrowed, temporary, fragile. Machiavelli taught that a prince who cannot govern himself cannot govern his state. And in your life, the same truth bites deeper. If you cannot rule your own impulses, emotions, and fears, then you are nothing but a puppet, pulled by the strings of the world. You want to stop forcing life? Then first, you must stop forcing yourself into weakness. The man who masters himself needs no permission, no validation, no desperate chase. He is his own fortress, his own law. Ruthless self-mastery begins with control of emotion, anger, desperation, envy. These are cracks in the armor that predators exploit. You think lashing out shows strength. It shows slavery. You think chasing every desire proves ambition. It proves you are owned by your appetites. Stoicism is not softness. It is iron discipline. It is you locking your emotions in chains and commanding them like soldiers, not being dragged behind them like a prisoner. The world cannot shake a man who has already conquered his own storms. He becomes untouchable. Self-mastery extends to your habits, your discipline, your presence. Every time you indulge weakness, you erode your aura. Every time you betray your own word, you diminish your power. But when you sharpen your discipline, when your body obeys your mind, when your words match your actions, when your presence radiates control, you terrify the world, because they cannot manipulate what they cannot shake. This is why Machiavelli prized rulers who showed restraint. Restraint is not lack of power, it is proof of it. The man who can destroy but chooses not to is feared more than the man who swings wildly. Think about it. The man who cannot master himself cannot attract. He leaks desperation. He bleeds weakness. He forces because he is empty. But the man who is whole within himself, who is satisfied in his own discipline, who walks through the world with an iron spine, he doesn't chase because he has no need. Success bends to him because self-mastery radiates inevitability. That is the essence of cold power psychology. Conquer yourself, and the external world follows like a shadow. So the command is clear. Rule yourself like a tyrant. Crush your laziness. Silence your fears. Chain your impulses. Harden your will until it bends steel. Because if you don't rule yourself, someone else will. And when you achieve ruthless self-mastery, you no longer need to force life. You attract it by becoming undeniable. Comment this now if you're ready to conquer yourself. I rule myself. Nothing rules me. Number 9. The aura of inevitability. There is a kind of power that terrifies men more than armies, more than riches, more than crowns. It is the aura of inevitability. When others look at you and believe, without question, that your rise cannot be stopped, that your success is already written, that your victory is a matter of when, not if, they surrender before the battle even begins. Machiavelli knew this psychological law. Perception often outweighs reality. A prince who convinces the people of his inevitability rarely faces rebellion because the fight feels useless. And in your life, you must craft the same aura, not by forcing, not by begging, not by chasing, but by carrying yourself as though you are destined, and making others believe it too. The aura of inevitability is not arrogance. It is not empty confidence. It is a combination of restraint, consistency, and control so tight that people begin to feel your victories before they occur. Think of Caesar marching into Rome, Napoleon returning from exile, Alexander setting his sights on Persia. They carried with them not just armies, but an energy that whispered, "Resistance is futile." Their opponents often collapsed under the weight of that energy before swords even clashed. This is dark psychology at its peak. People fear what they perceive as unstoppable more than they fear death itself. Now understand this, forcing life destroys inevitability. The moment you push, beg, or demand, you reveal doubt, and doubt cracks your aura like glass. People stop believing you are inevitable when you start showing hunger. Hunger is a sign of lack. Lack is a sign of weakness. The aura of inevitability is built on the opposite: fullness, self-mastery, calmness, consistency. You do not force because you already know. You do not chase because you already possess. That quiet certainty becomes contagious. Others begin to believe what you believe. They bend to the vision of your inevitability until it becomes reality. How do you build it? Through ruthless consistency, through showing up in silence again and again until people cannot ignore the weight of your presence, through eliminating desperation from every word, every gesture, every action, through never breaking character even when storms hit. The aura is fragile at first, but once it solidifies, it becomes unbreakable. It is why people follow certain men blindly. They feel in their bones that resistance is pointless, that success flows to this man naturally, like rivers flow downhill. Think about the psychological effect. When people believe you cannot be stopped, they unconsciously align with you. Allies appear, enemies retreat, opportunities fall into your path. The world shapes itself around your inevitability. And the truth is, the world wants inevitability. People crave certainty. They crave something to believe in. Most men are weak, lost, unsure. When they encounter someone who radiates inevitability, they attach themselves to that force. That is why the aura attracts without effort. It provides a refuge, a vision, a gravitational field that others cannot escape. But beware, this aura cannot be faked for long. Pretenders are exposed, and exposure is fatal. The aura must be rooted in actual mastery of yourself, of your discipline, of your silence, of your patience. Otherwise, the mask cracks, and when people see the emptiness behind it, they turn on you with twice the ferocity. Machiavelli warned that deception without substance collapses. Build the substance first, your habits, your discipline, your presence, and the aura grows naturally around it. You will not need to declare inevitability. They will declare it for you. Imagine this. You walk into a room and the energy shifts. No words, no gestures, just presence. People glance, pause, whisper. They don't know why, but they feel it. That you are going somewhere they cannot block. That you are moving on a path they cannot stop. That is inevitability. It is invisible, but heavy. It crushes resistance before it breathes. And it only comes to the man who stops forcing life, who stops begging, who masters himself until his very existence radiates destiny. This is the final metamorphosis. From a man who chases, to a man who attracts, to a man who embodies inevitability. You don't run after success. Success runs after you. You don't scream for recognition. Recognition grows in silence. You don't beg for loyalty. Loyalty bends to your aura, and when this happens, the game ends. You've already won. Comment this now if you feel it rising within you. My success is inevitable. Number 10. The Machiavellian secret. You've walked through the trap of forcing, the weapon of patience, the magnetism of power, the mask of indifference, the silence that dominates, the dark seduction of power, the art of frame control, the ruthless mastery of self, and the aura of inevitability. Now you stand before the final truth, the Machiavellian secret. It is this: forcing life is weakness, attraction is dominance, and the man who commands without chasing is the man who rules without question. Every lesson you've heard leads to this singular law: stop forcing, stop begging, stop clawing. Instead, build such gravity in your presence that the world cannot escape you. That is Machiavelli's way. That is the secret hidden from the desperate and revealed only to the disciplined. Think about the men history remembers. Did they beg? Did they force? Number. They stood, they calculated, they commanded. They made themselves so inevitable that even their enemies aligned with them. Machiavelli admired Cesare Borgia not because he chased fortune, but because he bent fortune into his palm with ruthless cunning. He did not force chance. He manipulated it, shaped it, attracted it. And even when fate turned against him, his aura of inevitability was so strong that the people still saw him as destined. That is the Machiavellian secret. Become so controlled, so unshaken, that even when life tests you, you radiate power. The psychology behind this is brutal but undeniable. Humans are herd creatures. They gravitate towards certainty, towards strength, toward inevitability. They despise desperation because it reminds them of their own fragility. But when they see you silent, patient, detached, self-mastered, they see in you the godlike qualities they lack, and they want to orbit that. They want to be consumed by it. You no longer need to chase them because they chase the security of your power. This is why attraction, not force, is the true path to success. Force drains, attraction multiplies. But here lies the darker edge. If you fall into forcing, you destroy it all. The moment you chase, you declare yourself weak. The moment you beg, you crack the illusion. People are ruthless in their judgment. They will devour you if you show lack. That is why your discipline must be absolute. You must never step outside the mask of indifference. Never betray your silence. Never break your aura. This is not play, it is war. A single slip and you are reduced to the scrambling crowd you were meant to rule over. Machiavelli knew that fortune is a woman. It bends only to those who are bold, disciplined, and patient, never to those who grovel. So how do you live this law? You embody it. Every day, you sharpen your silence. You master your impulses. You hold your frame when others crumble. You cultivate patience until waiting becomes second nature. You build inevitability through consistency. And above all, you reject forcing in every form. You do not force people to like you. You do not force opportunities to open. You do not force success to arrive. Instead, you master yourself until people, opportunities, and success cannot help but bend toward you. This is not theory. This is observable truth. Look at any man who commands respect. He does not chase it. It comes to him. And here's the final piece of dark psychology you must never forget. Attraction is not passive. It is built. It is engineered. It is controlled. You must craft yourself into something the world cannot resist. This means self-discipline, aura, mystique, scarcity. It means removing desperation from your movements and replacing it with calm certainty. It means presenting yourself as though you could walk away from anything. And because of that, nothing ever walks away from you. People crave the one who doesn't need them. Opportunities chase the man who doesn't need them. Life bends to the man who stands immovable in the storm. The Machiavellian secret is this: fortune is not won by frantic chasing, but by silent gravity. You are not to move like the starving. You are to move like the inevitable. Do this, and your enemies will fear you, your allies will cling to you, and success will kneel at your feet without a word. Stop forcing life. Begin attracting it, and watch as doors open that others have beaten bloody fists against for decades. That is your path, that is your crown, that is your dominion. Now it's your turn to declare it. Write this in the comments right now. I attract success. I never chase it. Let that phrase burn into your mind until it becomes your instinct, your aura, your law. And if you are ready to master yourself, to embody the aura of inevitability, to live by Machiavelli's secret, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because this is not motivation. This is not inspiration. This is war, and only those who stop forcing life will ever rule it.